Hey everyone, today we're talking about real estate in Howard County, Maryland, and how much you can expect to spend if you are considering purchasing a home here in the Howard County, Maryland area. So just a quick background. So I've lived here in Howard County, Maryland for a little over 6 years now, and it's been great. There's a lot of awesome things that I love here about the area. And to be honest with you, I know, since COVID, real estate has kind of blown up, all around the country, and it's certainly very competitive here. But it's kind of always been, in a certain sense, competitive here in Howard County, Maryland. So, and I think there's a few reasons for that. So, one is Howard County. In general, you will hear that Howard County's got some of the best schools here in the state. So that's definitely a huge draw for people. We work with a good amount of people coming from out of the area. That's something that they're really seeking here in the area too. And then even from people within the state, they're always looking to, and always talking about how amazing the schools here are in the area. So that's definitely a huge draw. Another reason is just the proximity and kind of how central it is to DC and to Baltimore. So from most of Howard County, you're probably about 20 to 25 minutes from the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. You're probably 45 to 55 minutes, depending on traffic, down to DC. So you have a lot of people that do both, although technically Howard County is going to be tied to Baltimore Metro. You're still not too far from DC as well. And then another thing is just going to be kind of the size of Howard County. So it's definitely a smaller county, especially when you compare it to a couple counties around it. So you've got Baltimore County to the northeast of Howard County, and that's got roughly 850,000 people. And then you're looking at just under 700 square miles for Baltimore County, so a pretty big county. Runs all the way north to Pennsylvania. And then south, you've got Montgomery County, and they've got over 1 million people, and they've got just roughly 500 square miles. And then you've got Howard County in between. We've got 328,000 people here in the county, and then only about 250 square miles. So definitely smaller. And then also when you kind of look at Howard County as a whole, you've got a third of Howard County when you factor in, and this is just my rough guess of kind of living here and kind of being here in the county for so long, but a third of the county when you go west of Marriottsville Road is pretty rural. It's spaced out, a lot of farmland still. So really you've got 2/3 of Howard County that's pretty developed, and your main options for housing. So even when you look at Howard County as a whole, only about 2/3 of it is really the majority of where the housing is. So because of those reasons and probably some others as well, it's always been competitive. I've been working real estate here in the Maryland area, Howard County, a lot as well over the last 6-7 years. And it's always been kind of one of those hot spots where it's, on nicer homes, well maintained, turnkey homes. You've kind of always seen multiple offers throughout the years. Now, of course, since COVID, it's just kind of blown up, and now it's crazy, just like most metro areas around the country. But that's something that we've always seen. When I would be in Anne Arundel County or Baltimore County or other surrounding counties, it was just never quite as competitive as here as Howard County. So that's something that you can expect. Just some rough ideas of things, that contribute to the competition here in the area, and why the demand has always been high and why it continues to be high here in the area. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if that's the kind of information you're looking for, make sure to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're made aware of the new videos that we do each and every week here on the channel. And if you're thinking about moving here to the area, if you're considering whether buying a home might be the right choice for you and your family, we absolutely love helping in any way possible. However you feel comfortable reaching out, whether that's by phone, text, or email, we would love to talk to you and see if there's any ways that we can help. And days, nights, and weekends, we've got your back when moving here to the great state of Maryland. All right, so let's jump right in to how much it costs and what you can expect cost-wise from purchasing a home here in the Howard County area. So first I want to start off with your typical townhome here in the area. We've got a lot of them, and that's something that's going to be one of the more affordable options. So wanted to start there. So looking at your typical 3 or more bedroom townhome here in Howard County, and those are going to roughly run in between, I'd say, 1,300 to 1,400 above grade square feet to 1,700 to 1,800 square feet above grade. Now, when I say that, I know it's a little confusing depending on the website that you're looking at. We go by above grade because it can just vary. Does the basement have a home? Does it not have a home? Is the basement finished? Is it not? So we look at above grade square footage, which is the main level, and up, essentially all square footage outside of the basement. So the basement would just kind of be a bonus, that would be additional living space there. So that's what we kind of do just to avoid any confusion depending on the situation. So your typical 3+ bedroom townhome here in the area has a median home sales price of $415,000. Now, obviously, there's going to be some that are more, a lot that are more. There's going to be some that are less, but that's going to be roughly what you can, expect to spend, especially in the central Howard County area where you're going to see most of those townhomes, which is going to be Elk Ridge, Columbia, Laurel. Those are going to be your common areas where you're going to see most of the townhomes. So all solid areas, and that's what you can expect to spend there on a townhome. Now, one other thing that I wanted to share is you're going to see a lot of HOAs in these townhome communities. So your typical HOA is going to run anywhere from $50 a month to $75 a month. And you're not going to see a ton of amenities here in the area. That's just going to be your typical HOA, which is going to cover typically your parking, your trash maybe, and it's just going to make sure that people aren't painting their homes pink and stuff like that, right? So just kind of setting some general guidelines and doing what typical HOAs do. So there's not going to be anything special there that you're going to see here in the area when it comes to HOAs. All right, next, wanted to discuss 2 to 3 bedroom condos and what you can expect price point there. So your median home sales price for a 2 to 3 bedroom condo in Howard County is going to be $325,000. And your typical condo fee for those condos is probably going to be roughly between $275 a month and $400 a month. So it can kind of be any range between those, but that is very, very common. You typically don't see any more than $400 a month. Now, some condos, depending on the area, are going to have more amenities than others. A lot, especially because a lot of your condos are going to be in the Columbia area, a lot actually don't really have many amenities like your pools, fitness centers, and stuff like that. So the majority of that condo fee is going to be going towards your master insurance policy. So that's going to mean that the condo is taking responsibility for things like roofs, gutters, sidings, all things exterior, and so that those things don't fall on the condo owner. So that's very common. You're going to see the majority of your condos cover things like water, trash, parking, things like that, snow removal, all that kind of stuff. So that's very common that you can expect to be covered within a condo fee if that's what you're looking for here in the Howard County area. All right, next, let's move on to detached homes and what you can expect there. So your typical 3 to 4 bedroom home in Howard County under 2,000 above grade square feet is going to have a median sales price of $490,000. Now, to be honest, those are mainly going to be made up of your ranchers, split levels, split foyers, Cape Cods, things like that, that you're going to see in that price point. So just don't want it to be, misleading. If you are looking for like a colonial, or if you're looking for a larger home, it's definitely going to, more than likely be above that. But if you're open to different styles of homes, if you're open to, some, smaller homes, and a lot of these are going to have basements, so they're going to have decent living space. That's what you can expect kind of in that price point. And then next, moving on to the detached homes with 3 or more bedrooms, but the square footage being over 2,000 square feet, up to roughly 3,500 above grade square feet is kind of the calculation that I did, or the numbers that I ran. You're going to be seeing a median sales price of $675,000 for these homes. And the majority of these homes are going to be your colonials, right? So when you get up in size, up in square footage here in Maryland, that's the majority of the type of homes that you see. So definitely not a cheap area to live in. You're definitely going to have to spend some money, but it's certainly going to depend on what you grew up with, what you're used to, and where you're coming from. But for me personally, coming from and growing up in the LA area, in Southern California, it still feels like you get pretty decent bang for your buck here. So I look at where I grew up and what properties are running out there, and it's just unbelievable how much you have to spend. So at least here in certain parts of Howard County, you can still get some space. My wife and I, we've got a little over a half an acre. And decent living space, awesome neighborhoods, great schools. So these are all things that a lot of people are looking for and that are not going to go away. It's that kind of demand for those things are going to I think are going to be here for the long haul. So if you ever have any questions, if you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out, and we'll see you with the next video.